So you are chasing documents between departments to know the status of a service request? You are a true believer that lack of visibility is affecting not only your productivity, but also your organization's reputation due to delayed responses to your customers? Do you think that service level agreements should be put in place? More transparency is needed? Bottlenecks in the process itself should be easily identified and eliminated? One employee's absence should not slow down customer requests processing? In general, getting rid of paper-based processes and streamlining them, in addition to availing a digital channel for receiving requests from your customers, are your priorities? If your answer is yes, then this demo is for you. Hello and welcome. This is Ahmed Al-Affas from Intalio, and I'm here to demonstrate Intalio Case, the intelligent, scalable, open and full-fledged business process automation platform. Before I start the demo, let's go through the demo scenario. And our demo today is for a budget approval process, which starts from an applicant who will apply for a budget approval through submitting a budget approval request. And this budget approval request will be sent in addition to any attachments, if any. Then this request will be then forwarded to the project coordinator, who will act as the focal point for this request. He will coordinate internally and will get back with a notification to the applicant. The project coordinator will validate the request and review it, and if validated, he will send it to the department manager. The department manager will then check out the budget approval request and send it for modifications back to the project coordinator in case there are any modifications that should be applied. Otherwise, if the department manager is fine and approving this request, it will be forwarded to the finance manager. The finance manager will check the request in terms of the budget and the amount and so on. And also he will have the right to send it back to the project coordinator for modifications if needed. Other than that, in case of approval, it will be sent directly to the director. And this is the final step of approvals required for this type of requests. The director has the right to send it back for modification to the project coordinator, who acts as a focal point, as I said, for this request. Or otherwise, if the request is approved by the director, it will be archived, and in all cases, either the application has been approved or rejected, the applicant will be notified. Now, let's jump to the demo. Intalio Case has two applications. The first one, which we will go through now, is the user portal, and this is from where users access their requests and check out their processing and do delegations and so on. And the other application is the workflow engine. I will be going through the workflow engine, but at the end of this demo. So for now, let's use the user portal to start our demo scenario. I will now log in with the applicant, who will start initiating a budget approval request. This is the landing page for the applicant. This is the logged in user. The username is applicant1. And the header menu contains all the type of requests that this applicant has access to. Other than that, on the left, there are all the actions that this applicant can do. I will go through them, but at the end of the demo as well. But initially, for now, let's start our budget approval process, and it's called budget approval. This is dash simple, and this is a simplified form of the budget approval request process. So this is the initiation form for the budget approval request. And as we can see, most of the fields are mandatory. So I will start filling all the attributes related to my budget approval request. Starting from the project type, I will assume that it's a construction project. Now I will say new building construction. This is the title of the project, assuming that our company will construct a new building. And this project is related to the procurement department, for example. And I might assume a budget for this building of around, let me assume $200,000. The start date of the project, well, let me assume that we will start in Q3, the 1st of July. And the project itself will take around 6 months. So I will assume that it will be finished by the end of the year. In this section, the related documents, I can attach whatever documents that are related to my request. By default, our organization enforces that we use a specific form for the budget approvals. I have already uploaded this template here, and I will use it for my request. This is the template only. It's an empty one, and it does not have any information, but we will see how information will be pulled from these attributes and stored in the document or in the template itself. Now the applicant will click send or will submit his request. Automatically, intalio case will generate a reference number for this request, and as we can see, it's 4011. Now that the request has been submitted by applicant 1, applicant 1 can check it out in this section, my tasks, and then my requests. We will find that there is a budget approval dash simple request with this reference number 11, created date, this is the date, and the status of the request is pending. As an applicant, I have the right to view the request itself. By clicking view, I will find that there are 4 tabs have been created here. The application metadata, which I have already filled, in addition to the budget approval document or the template that is used for this type of requests. The attachments, as we can see, here is the attachment, the budget approval request. This is how the template looks like. And of course, the tasks history, it has been sent to the project coordinator, but still no action has been taken. I still didn't log in as a project coordinator. And finally, if I would like to track it, I can do this at any time using the visual tracking feature, which shows here that the request has been created by applicant 1, and now it's awaiting for the validation by the project coordinator. As we can see that this request is still in progress and has not been read yet. Now is the time to log in as a project coordinator and see the request in the inbox of the project coordinator. Once again, the request is here under my tasks in the inbox. By the way, inbox shows 2 figures or 2 numbers. The first number is the requests of today, and the other number is the total number of requests. This applies either for the inbox, completed, draft, or my requests, which are the requests that I have been personally requesting. So I will go for the inbox. This is the task that has been just sent to me, and if I would like to expand it, I will see that it has been created by applicant 1. The status is pending, and as we can see, I can edit this request and start working on it. This is my task, this is the details of the task, and this is the application metadata. I can't edit here, of course, this is for read only. And I will find that the applicant has sent me this type of project with this title, and this is the amount, and he's expecting that this project will end by the end of will finish by the end of the year. and he has attached also the budget approval template. In the attachments, I will see once again the budget approval, and here is from where I can either approve or reject the request in my task tab, and also I can add any comments I might have on this request. So I would say that this request has been validated by the project coordinator, and I will approve it. After approving the request, I will find that it will be sent to the department manager, and the department manager now has to check out the request and give us his feedback. So I will log out once again from the project coordinator and log in as the department manager, who will find in his inbox one new request that has been sent today, and this request is our request, which is number 11. I have double clicked on it, and this is the task itself. If I would like to check the application metadata, here is the application metadata, here is the information, and here is the template attached in the attachments. And if I would like to check out this task's history, I will find that the project coordinator has just validated this request. Okay, back to the application metadata. For me as a department manager, I will find out that I need another manager to take a look at this request. But how can I do this if there are no managers in the flow? Simply I can do this by assigning, and this is exceptionally for this instance of the workflow for this request, by assigning someone to check out this request instead of me. I have the authority to approve or reject, and in case of rejection, the request will be sent back to the project coordinator, and any comments I might have, I can type them here. So for now, I will assume that I will assign this task for, let me say, department managers group in general. I would like them to take a look at this request and give me their feedback. This is not for their info, this is for their feedback. And I will assume that I will expect their feedback maximum early next week. So I would say next Monday. It's fine, fair enough. Okay, so for now I will say in my instructions, I would say, please give me your feedback on this new building budget approval request. I can reformat the text if needed. If I'm fine, I will assign and close the task. Now that the task has been assigned successfully, I will log out, and now I will log in with a manager in the group of the department manager, in the department managers group, and this is manager 2. Of course, now the task has been sent to the whole group, so every member in the department managers group will find this task in his inbox. And one of these users is department manager 2, who has received the request, and in case he would like to work on it, he has to lock it so that it is only accessible by him. So I will assume that I will lock the selected item, and then I will see here that the purpose of sending this request is that they need my feedback, and the instruction is written here. Please give us your feedback. So now let me check the application metadata. I will find that the request includes or titled new building construction, and it's related to the procurement department with this amount of the budget. Okay, so I will assume that for me as a manager, I'm totally fine with the request, and I would mention here that maybe I have a comment on the duration of the project. So I would say that the duration of the project is tight. It might require 2 extra months. This is my feedback initially. Other than that, I will reply. Sorry, this is for replying on the comment if I need to reply to the comment, and I will now save my reply. Okay. Now that I'm done with my feedback, I will unlock the request, and then I will log out, and we will log in back again with the department manager. The department manager will now see the update or the feedback of the department manager 2, and here is the request. I will double click on it, and here in the tasks history I can see that I have this feedback. The duration of the project is tight. It might require 2 extra months. So now this is the feedback. If I'm fine with that, and by taking a look to the budget of the project, the duration, and the title of the project, etc., all this information, if I'm totally fine with it, and I have got already the feedback from the department managers, I will now approve this request. And I will say approved by the department manager. Now's the time for the finance manager to check out the request. So I will log out and log in as finance manager. The finance manager will find out that his inbox has 2 requests for today. One of them is the budget approval, and there is another request of the type invoice management. Okay, so let me check out the budget approval. It has been created by applicant 1. Now's the time to check out this request. Here's all the information related to the request itself. For me as a finance manager, I would care about the budget. If I'm fine with this budget, I can check out the tasks history, and I can see the feedback from all the previous actors on this request, starting from the project coordinator. Department manager has approved it, and also I have another feedback that has been sent to department manager. I don't see it, but I can say that this is based on task assignment. At the end of the day, I can see that department manager has approved the request. So if I'm fine with the budget, and this is what I care about as a finance manager, and all the other information related to the project, and based on the feedback from the department manager, now I can approve this request. As we can see that if I click on approve, I will find that it will be sent for the director approval, and this is the final step. By approving this request, it will disappear from my inbox, and it will appear in the director's inbox. I will log in now as a director to find that I have one new item in my inbox, and it has been sent today. This is the only item I have in my inbox. That's great. So Now here is the information of the request. By double clicking on it, I can see all the application metadata, all the information related to the budget approval request, the attachment of the budget approval request template itself, the tasks history, all the feedback from the previous users or actors and departments, and finally the financial manager did not leave any comments. Okay, if I'm fine with that, if I have no problem in this type of requests, then I can approve it. By approving this request, we have created an extra step in this request for the applicant to notify the applicant that your application has been approved. This is just for the demo, but in general this notification can be done by email, but for here I will show it as a step just for the demo. Here is the request. The status has been changed to approved, and by double clicking on the request I will find that here is the application metadata. If I would like to check out the tasks history and the feedback of every user, I can see it here. The financial manager and the director did not leave any comments. They are totally fine. By visually tracking the whole request, I can see that it has been initiated by me, validated by the project coordinator, and approved by the department manager. And also it has been sent or assigned to the department managers. And as we saw during the demo, that another department manager has checked out the request and provided us with his feedback, which was related to the duration of the project. Finally, the request has been sent to the finance manager, who has approved it, and finally to the director, who approved it as well. And here is the request now with me, the applicant, and all I can do is to acknowledge that I have received the request and acknowledge that it has been accepted. So now I know that it has been accepted. Acknowledge. This is just an extra step for the demo sake. As I said, usually this is done by email. After acknowledging that I have received the request, I will find that the request itself with the reference number 11 disappeared from my inbox, and now I can see it in my requests here, and I can search for it. So now that we have already completed the whole cycle of the budget approval request, I would like to go through the other menu items on the left hand side. Starting from the delegation, here is from where applicant 1 can delegate another user so that all the requests being sent for me will be sent for this user instead. This is very useful whenever I will be absent or on vacation. Similarly, the way we do when we are out of office, so we leave an out of office message and automatically this message is being sent for any sender whenever I'm on vacation. In case I would like to delegate someone, I will click new, and from new I can even determine the duration of the delegation and the full name of who to forward the requests to instead of me. Not only that, but I can also define what type of requests to be sent for this user. Or I might say that I will forward for this user all types of requests by clicking on the plus sign on the right hand side. After filling all this information and submitting, all the requests that should be sent to me will be automatically forwarded to my delegate. This is the delegation. To-do list. Here is where I do save all the activities that I would like to do, or all my tasks. I have already created a task that is called submit my budget approval request for my project. This project which we have already submitted during our demo. So I would say that this request is not in my to-do list anymore, I can move it to in progress or to completed because the request has been already completed. Other than that, I can check out all my to-do list during a specific duration, because here in my to-do list only the tasks that should be done today will be displayed here. But if I would like to search for a much wider duration, I will find that I have to submit my business travel request, and by double clicking on this item, I will find that I have to submit it by next Tuesday. It will appear here automatically by next Tuesday. Okay, that's fine. When I click on my documents, I will find that I can access all the documents that I have access to from within this screen. So, and they are of course ordered by department, or by, we call them cabinets. And under each cabinet we can find folders, and under each folder we can find documents. Simply we can see the documents here. If I would like to search, there is a dedicated screen for this. So I can choose what kind of requests I would like to search for. If I have the reference number, I can enter the reference number. If I would like to check all the in-progress requests with a specific duration, I can fill the other fields as needed. So I would say that I'm looking for all the in-progress requests, all the requests that have the status in progress from all types. And here is the result. If I would like to modify my search, I will click here and simply enter whatever other criteria I would like to search by. This is for the search. When it comes to reporting, there is a general report that also allows me to see a wider view of all types of requests, with the ability to print this report or export it either to Excel or PDF. Simply by clicking here on PDF, I can see that the report has been downloaded, and if I click on it, here is the extracted report for all the status and for all types of requests. Other than that, there are the dashboards, and the dashboards are already out of the box in intalio case platform. We can see that there are so many dashboards in this screen. Let's initially see the features or the properties for each dashboard. So initially there is a filter button on the right hand side of each dashboard, where I can modify my search and enter a date. If I'm not interested in dates, that's totally fine. I can ignore this filtering option. Other than that, there is another button that gives me other options for each dashboard, starting from viewing the dashboard in full screen, printing it, or downloading it in different formats, either JPG, PNG, PDF, or even CSV or Excel. If I would like to go through each dashboard, I will find that there are already different dashboards, starting from the number of documents or the count of requests and status. As we can see here, let me just view this dashboard initially in full screen so that it's much more clearer to us. So here I can see that this dashboard includes all types of requests categorized by the request type and status. So if I just hover over the status, I will find that only the pending have been highlighted and the other have been shadowed. Postponed, for approval if I'm interested in the in progress status only, I will choose in progress, and so on. I can also click on any of these requests to remove it or eliminate it from the dashboard itself. So you find that if I'm interested only in the pending status, I have already been displaying now the pending status only, and it's from the budget approval request and the contract payment requests. If I'm interested in more states, I can just click on them back. So that's how the dashboard looks like. Other dashboards include the percentage of applications completed versus the in progress, and many other useful dashboards that will provide the users with more insights on we call them the business activity monitoring, or BAM. These are BAM reports that will give you much more visibility and transparency on how your business is going, how the requests are being processed, or how much time does it take for a specific request to be completed. Let's check out this interesting dashboard. Also, this is the average task completion duration per document type. So here are the requests, and in average, for example, the travel ticket request takes only minutes. That's perfect. There is another request called the insurance policy. It takes minutes, etc. So I can check out the average task completion duration per document type. This is when it comes to the dashboards. Other than that, there is the system delegation, and from here we can see all the delegations that have been applied on the system from a specific user to another specific user. I can see them here. As we can see, there are no delegations applied at the moment, but if there are any, they will be displayed here. Other than that, for me as a user, I have the authority or the permission to create a delegation from a user to another user. And the difference between system delegation and delegation is that here I can delegate all the activities from a user to another user, but in the delegation I only delegate on my behalf, on the behalf of the logged in user only. So I choose to who should I delegate, or who is my delegate during this duration and for this specific type of document types. Other than that, in my tasks, we will find that it contains 4 items, starting from the drafts, and these are all the requests that I have saved but did not send to anyone yet. The inbox, it's very clear from its name that these are the tasks in my inbox. The completed tasks, and finally my requests, or the requests that I have already requested. These are the requests that I have initiated or initiated by me. Other than that, as we said earlier, that intalio case has 2 interfaces. One is for the user portal, and this is the one we have been demonstrating for now, and the other one, let me log out from here, the other one is for the workflow engine, and this is from where the workflows are actually, or the business processes are being built. Let's see, for example, the budget approval request that we have been working on. Here is how it looks like and how it has been built. The main advantage of intalio case is that it's a low code or almost no code platform, so that there is no technical background that is required or development skills in order to build your own business process. And this bridges the gap between the business users and the IT team, because usually the business users transfer their ideas or their thoughts to the IT team. The IT team tries to translate these ideas into meaningful forms, but finally we will find that, or usually we find that there is a gap between what the business users were thinking of and what the IT users have developed. So in order to bridge this gap, intalio case as a low-code development environment enables the business users, or gives them the tool needed to develop their own process without any technical background or skills or development skills needed. Here, this is the budget approval. Let's initially check it out, and by checking it out I can apply any modifications to it, and Here is how the business process looks like, starting from the validation and then the manager approval, the budget approval, the director approval, and finally notifying the applicant. By clicking here, we can see all sort of activities. They are very simply drag and drop. If I would like to add any task activity, simply I click here and it's added here, and I can, for example, modify this or add another arrow starting from that starts from the notify applicant to the new task activity I have just created. We have already created all this workflow visually. We did not need to write any sort of code. So for example, let me say that the director approval will go from here, and then we'll go to this task activity. By double clicking on it, I can enter whatever details or attributes for it, and in the properties I can say to who should this task activity be sent to a user or to a structure or to a group of users like department managers, the way we did, or to the creator. And there are other properties that determine the due period or the duration that should not be exceeded when processing this request. If it has been exceeded, it will be marked as an overdue task. There are also other custom properties and activity actions if needed, but most probably if we take a look at any activity, we will find that we only enter this information and the properties, of course, and to who should the activity be forwarded to. Other than that, we actually never entered any information in the custom properties and the activity actions for this specific task activity, but we might need this in any other kind of activities. As you can see, it's totally depending on configurations rather than development, and it can be used by whatever business user with no technical background needed. Now I will go back and I will close the current workflow. Oh, sorry, I need to check it in back so that it's available. Also, if there is by any means a need to copy the same workflow to another workflow that I'm currently working on, I can simply clone this workflow or save it as a template and use it for later use. If I would like to export this workflow as is, I can simply click on export here, and then it will be downloaded as a file.case. And by being downloaded as a file.case, I can simply import it again from here, from the workflow engine, import the file.case that I have just downloaded, and then start modifying it on the workflow engine. If I will choose here from the downloads, budget approval, simple.case, and then by clicking import, I have successfully exported and imported the whole workflow so that I needn't repeat developing it again. Finally, I would like to thank you for your time. Thank you for watching the demo. And thanks. I will now log out.